You're listening to Parasearch UK Radio. News, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch UK Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to The Spirit Dimension with your host, Kerry Greenaway, right here on Parasearch Radio.
Good evening and welcome to The Spirit Dimension. My name is Kerry Greenaway and tonight we are doing something that wraps up an absolutely awesome weekend that happened last weekend. Now, if you were hiding under a rock and you don't know what happened last weekend, well, prepare yourselves because last weekend saw the best, most exclusive paranormal convention in the UK happening. That was Sage Paranormal Paracon 2018. Guest speakers included Katrina Wildman, Aaron Sagers, Chris Fleming, Barry Guy, Barry John, Karen Dahlman, Richard Eastep and Mr. Cal Cooper. There were investigations, banquets, balls, there was talks, there was lectures, there was even tattoos. Tonight I have in the studio one of the most amazing people in the paranormal field to this day. She is the founder and organiser, an all-round superwoman, MJ Dickson. Good evening, MJ, and how are you coping?
Hello, my love. How are we all doing tonight? Hi, guys.
Oh, my goodness. I bet you're on total burnout right now. No, don't tell me I've lost MJ already. No!
I lost you.
I know. Oh,
what happened?
No idea.
Gremlins already?
Oh, no, that's not good. So I bet you're on burnout, right?
I am beyond exhausted. I'm dead. I can only laugh about it. It's been a really exhausting few weeks leading up to the event. And, just the weekend of the event, it was really manic. Everything went really smoothly in that, thank goodness, but I couldn't have done it without the help that I had, which I will get into a little bit later and tell you who else was involved. But I've just come back from London literally about an hour ago. I walked through the door. I had a moment to have something to eat for dinner and do this. So I've literally not stopped since a few weeks before the Paracon.
I know, it's been very, very full on, and we're very, very lucky that you're still standing, quite frankly. Now, I'm going to take you back to last Thursday, where the Paracon all began. I mean, I know the lead up to that is very full on for you, but I want to let's hit the Paracon. So Thursday, all your guests start arriving in the UK, don't they? They start flying in, and that's when it really starts for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's when it kind of sinks in, when all the speakers start arriving and there's so many attendees that flew in from America. So thank you to all of those guys that came over. It's a hell of a journey for a weekend. That's when it really sets in. It becomes very real very quickly. And it was really exciting because you're running around trying to get everything ready for the investigation that we did at Coombe Abbey on Thursday night. And make sure, the speakers are settled in and you got guests that are arriving, trying to do registration, it's all the excitement and the buzz about it. So Thursday was a pretty full-on day, especially going into the investigation.
Yes, because you know the location. By this point, you're very well versed with the location, and you know exactly what you've got, and you've got your plans, and I know what you like for schedules, and that. So it's like that moment of realization, isn't it? It's like everything has to come together at that point for you.
It is. It's kind of like a do or die. I mean, you know, you've been working on this project for a year, and all of a sudden you're seeing it come to life. So it's kind of having all of that in your head and going over things over and over and over again to make sure that the schedules and timings and everything's perfect, all the flights, all the accommodation, all the everything. And then when it finally has to come together, seeing it come together and going, oh, I really hope everything that was in my head kind of plays out the way it's supposed to.
So is it like loads and loads of notes? Do you run around with like a clipboard and ticking things off as they're achieved?
My to-do list have babies, so I actually have to-do books, which is quite annoying because I have like 3 of them just for the Paracon, and I have this really bad habit of writing sticky notes, and I scribble things down on a sticky note, so there's like these little pieces of paper absolutely everywhere. I try and keep it all neat and focused, but I think my brain is so scattered during the organization of all of this because I've got so much going on that my sticky notes kind of it's reflected in that. It's kind of exactly what's going on in my head. It was really hectic this year because there were so many more working parts to the event this year. You know, last year the first 2 years was over 3 days.
Yeah.
And so we did just the investigation and then a couple of days of lectures. Whereas last year, everybody complained that there was not enough time to sleep. That I crammed far too much into 3 days. That everyone was super excited, but there was so much going on that they didn't have a chance to sleep. So I decided to do it over 4 days this year to give people the time. And guess what? We still got no sleep.
Yeah, you know, whatever.
I'm so excited about seeing everybody and meeting everybody. So, you know, you tend to spend more time catching up every free moment that you have, and then you look at the time and it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I had to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning to get things ready for the next day. So by Sunday I was completely man down.
Well, when I spoke to you on the Sunday, your voice had gone completely.
I had no voice. I'd been talking so much. It's just constantly talking. You've got 20 million people trying to get hold of you constantly. So it's people asking for directions, or people asking where the toilets are, when the next lecture is, what's going on next, where to go, how to get there. And even though there were other people that knew what was going on, I mean, Sage is my baby. So I think, and I know everybody, I'm trying to make an effort of getting to know each attendee at least a little bit beforehand on Facebook or through email. So I think people feel really comfortable with asking me, you know, whatever they need. It just happens to be that it's everybody at the same time. So by Sunday, I had no voice.
So, because one of the things we noticed as a station over the weekend was the feel of it, the vibe of it, the atmosphere. It was so fun, and that family vibe. Everybody was saying it. You know, we spoke to guests, you know, the speakers. Everybody was saying they've never attended a convention like it, that it was a very family feel, and the Sage tribe is just incredible. It's what the brand you've built, and I hate to use that word actually, brand is not the right word, but the convention you've built regarding Sage is, I've never felt anything like it. I mean, I've really not experienced something, and I was doing it remotely. You know, I was doing the studio remotely for the guys that were on the thing. But even I was getting that vibe when we were doing the shows for you guys. And it really shows the effort that you put into creating that, and the effort that you put into building those relationships with people, which is it's a phenomenal feat, quite frankly.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, I set out a few years ago to bring the community together. And everybody keeps saying there's so much bickering and bitchiness within the paranormal field, and there is. Don't get me wrong, there's a hell of a lot of it. But there's no reason for it. There's absolutely no reason for it. You've got a lot of teams that are arguing about locations, like this is my location, or this is, my territory, or my this, or my that, or we're so much better. And once you put all those egos and all that crap aside, you actually have something really beautiful. You have a really large group of like-minded people that are able to share ideas and opinions and things that they feel comfortable around each other because they've all got that thing in common. They all love the paranormal and all things weird. So you have immediately got something to connect to other people with. And once you put all the egos and all of that aside and out of your mind, and you're just there to enjoy yourself, it really does become a really beautiful community of people. And I know a lot of the guys in the Sage tribe, they support each other outside of all things Sage. These guys are getting together and doing their own investigations and teaming up and supporting each other's businesses. And if somebody loses a family member or whatever the case may be, they're going through something in their personal life, the whole Sage tribe is there to support them. So it's become this network of amazing like-minded people that just really support each other. It really has become a family. And all I ever intended to do was bring the community together to share and move the field forward without any nonsense. That was all I never intended for it. I didn't think it would become such a huge family. I mean, this weekend, we were joking. Last year, everybody got a Sage tribe, like, little beaded bracelet as like a little thank you, welcome to the tribe. This year, people got tattoos. It's so funny. I was like, wow, that escalated quickly. Just a huge shout out to Human Canvas, the guys from Walsall, the tattoo artists, Saz and Aaron. They were incredible. They designed such amazing designs for the guys over the weekend. They were tattooing non-stop over the weekend. And their work was brilliant. And the Sage tribe broke me this year. They broke me. I was such an emotional wreck. When I walked up, they called me over and somebody was getting a Sage tribe tattoo and turned around and said it's something to remember their family. They've never felt like such a part of something so amazing. And I literally just stood there and burst into tears. I was like, you have absolutely broken me. I couldn't get words out. And then there were like 4 or 5 people that had it done. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on?
I think you'll find that since Sage, some of the people that went have gone on and had that tattoo done. They couldn't get it done at the event, but they've actually gone away after the event and had that done too.
I know. I've been sent photographs and I've had a few people contact me. And it's really overwhelming, and I'm so grateful for everybody's support. I'm so grateful that people have come together and embraced everything that I was trying to do. I mean, they've embraced it a lot. They got tattoos. This year was really overwhelming for me. Really, really overwhelming. It was great. It was fantastic, but wow. So a big thank you to all the guys that attended because, it was mind-blowing.
I just want to give a shout out to a few people in the chat room. Le Court Paranormal are in there. That's Corrine and Alex.
They are amazing.
Carl Hutchinson is in there. Sam Mason is in there. Jeanette Wally is in there. Penny, my very own Penny, is in there. Elizabeth is in there. Hi, Elizabeth. Who else is in there? Let's have a little look. They're all saying hello to each other at the moment. There's just so many people in the chat room tonight. Thank you so much for joining us for this aftermath. Let's talk about the investigation, because I'm telling you now, you broke it down. You had people could attend the investigation. People could do weekends. They could do the whole thing. They could do just some of the events that were going on over the weekend. But you kicked off the event really with the investigation with all the guest speakers, didn't you?
Yes. Sorry. So we decided to split into 6 different groups. We had 6 different areas, and they were the oldest areas of Coombe Abbey that we could investigate. And so we placed everybody in the main medieval banquet hall at the Abbey Gate. We decided to do a bit of a warm-up experiment, and it was more of like a team-building exercise, just to mix the old Sage tribe and the new Sage tribe together. There's a lot of people that didn't know each other this year. And so we thought we'd split them up into these groups, do this little Ouija board experiment, which actually turned out much better than we expected, because we got a lot of information that came through that was quite accurate and related to the actual part that we were investigating. So I do still have some work once I've caught up on about 3 weeks of sleep. I'm going to be getting more of that information together and seeing if we can compare it to any of the history of the location, see if we find any more facts. But it started with this Ouija board experiment, which was a lot of fun. We then split off into the groups and investigated all the different areas. So we had Chris Fleming and Barry Guy investigating in the bar area together. We had Katrina Weidman in one room, Aaron Sagers in one room, Richard Estep in one room, myself, and a big shout out to Susan Cummins from Seattle. I mean, she wasn't one of our speakers, but Susan investigated the room with me, just in case I had any emergencies that I could, nip out of the room. If I had a group on my own and anything happened, I wouldn't be able to leave. So, really big shout out to Susan for doing that with me. Had Barry John and Karen A. Dullman doing sort of mediumship and Ouija board sessions in another room. So we rotated the groups around, and what we found was, each speaker was bringing something new to the table, a little bit different from each other. And a lot of the speakers came back to us afterwards, and they're like, do you know what? I actually learned more from the groups than I think I taught them, which was amazing, because you've got these people who have experience and have been doing this for years. And they're looking at the attendees like, oh my God, you guys have got brilliant experiments and ideas. And so it really put everybody on the same level. And it really became more of a sharing thing than, oh, hey, look, we have these celebrity guys and the groups. It was just, I don't know, it meshed really well. It seemed to just work. We got some amazing EVPs and things in our room, I know that. We also had a lot of activity on the SLS cameras, figures mapping in, at the same time of having rather large EMF spikes and things. I know Barry and Chris got some really interesting spirit box responses and that in the bar area. Some really interesting information came through on the talking boards and that. So overall, the investigation was really fun. It went really well. We had interesting results. But yeah, I still have to send out my little questionnaire that I sent to all the attendees, and so they can tell me, what were your favorite parts and what, because I barely got a chance to speak to anyone. So I was running around organizing too much.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, that was the investigation. I know we had a few of the guest speakers referenced the investigation. They spoke about some of the experiences they had, which was very interesting. And then you had a medieval banquet on the Friday evening.
That was incredible. I'm sorry, just to jump back at the investigation, I've just looked at some of the comments in the chat room, and I see Elizabeth just posted, "Step away from the bear." So, that was so funny. That was my moment. It came out a little more stern than it probably should have. We were in the room, and I had an EMF teddy bear, Rufus, as we call him, and that lights up, if anything goes near him. And somebody kept walking up to the bear, and eventually I got a bit annoyed because I was trying to figure out, is it the EMF field in the room, or is it, actually something affecting the bear, and it came out in a really stern voice, to step away from the bear.
Be bossy to spirit.
Burst out laughing.
You're even organising spirit, right?
Yeah, right? Can't help it. And then, so going on to Friday, I think everyone got quite a bit of sleep on the Friday, and they were able to explore the grounds and everything, because we didn't have anything on Friday during the day to give people the time to rest and catch up. Friday night's medieval banquet, we started out with a welcome glass of mead, and we had the historian tell us a bit of the ghostly sightings and all the ghost stories of Coombe Abbey, things that guests or staff have experienced over the years. Excuse me. And so it was quite interesting to hear what people had experienced after we had done the investigation, because there were a couple of things that actually tied in. Some of the places where we were mapping in figures on the SLS camera in our particular room, there was a story saying one of the staff members had seen a little boy stood at the end of the bed in that room, as well as some guests had seen this little boy at the end of the bed. So it was really cool to hear the stories afterwards and a bit of the history. We then went into the medieval banquet hall and had a wonderful 4-course meal with entertainment, and it was brilliant. I've got a few videos and things to post. It was such good fun. I think everyone was super excited about shouting out huzzah and getting into the swing of things. The food was fantastic. The company was great. The entertainment was good fun. And then we had a bit of a little meet and greet, kind of get to know the speakers a bit more, have a few more drinks after the banquet. We had a DJ playing in that. I believe there's some live videos on Facebook of me dancing ever so badly, but
you look
beautiful. I look like a giraffe having an epileptic fit when I'm on a dance floor. So,
I'm sure you don't.
I watch the videos. Don't worry. And so it ended up with beer pong, which was probably a really bad idea. Everybody says it was Barry Guy's idea. Barry Guy blames Katrina Weidman. Who knows? Somebody started beer pong using wine. So it was interesting. I know I beat my husband, but
cool.
Of course. So it wasn't supposed to end up with so many drinks, etc., etc. However, it turned out to be a really good night, very interesting, good fun, and I think everyone kind of paid the price a little on Saturday morning for it. So next year, I'm probably not going to do the extra drinks after the medieval banquet, just to give people more of a chance of turning up to the talks on Saturday morning.
Well, Anastasia Price is in the chat room.
She is guilty. She's so guilty.
She's looking very, very guilty is all I'm saying. I actually think Anastasia and perhaps possibly Bazza, as she says, maybe got together and arranged that one, maybe kind of getting that vibe. Kind of getting that vibe.
My money's on Miss Katrina.
Your money's on Katrina as well. I think maybe there's a little gang of bad boys in all there.
I know, right?
Yeah, do you think?
But the medieval banquet was really good fun, and it's definitely something I'm going to keep doing every year. It's a nice evening to kind of get to know all the attendees a little bit more and get to hang out with the speakers. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I see Gemma saying I I bet you do, MJ. Right. I dare you. Don't dare me. Don't dare me.
Oh, don't dare the girl. She takes a dare and double dares and triple
I know,
dares
it's
and
terrible.
takes it to the limit and beyond the limit. And oh my God.
And
Oh my
according
God.
to Anastasia, Katrina actually wanted it to be vodka pong. So
Oh my
I think we
God.
got off lightly with the wine. So,
I don't know. I mean, sometimes the spirit is easier to handle than the wine.
I don't know.
Well, you might have to play with that one a little bit, is all I'm saying. Anyway, on the Saturday, the convention kicked off properly. You started off with your lectures, I say lectures. They're not lectures. They're the guest speakers. They get up, they do their thing, they tell you about what they do, and bring something new that you wouldn't have heard from them before. Who did you kick off with?
So this year we decided to focus our lectures on, when I was chatting to the speakers about what they wanted to talk about and what they felt comfortable with, it was very much a how-to guide. So it was how to use the Ouija board and feel comfortable with it and a little bit of the history behind it and that sort of thing. Or how to get published in the paranormal field. Like just a few pointers and things along with the story that Richard Estep, the inspiration behind his books and that sort of thing. So everyone touched a little bit on sort of a how-to theme. It turned out really well. We had really good feedback from all the guests for each speaker. I have yet to speak to all the attendees. As I say, I'm going to be sending out my little questionnaire, which is about 10 questions, to all the attendees and asking for their feedback and what they loved about the lectures, what they didn't like. And this is the way that, I use this to better the event every year. I really do take on board whatever my attendees tell me. I kind of take it to heart. So the lectures on Saturday were great. It was a bit chaotic because I had to be in two places at the same time constantly. So I didn't get to watch every talk, the entire talk. I sat in for a few minutes on each of them where I could. And I ended up being live on Paranormal Warehouse at about 1:30 in the afternoon. So, I was trying to show them around and give people a bit of a taste of the event and sort out the vendor room and the lectures. But overall, really, really good feedback on all the talks.
Yeah, from what I got from when I was talking to various people, everyone was very, very impressed by all the different guest speakers that you had, and was surprised actually at some of, what they brought to the table. People sometimes mistake a media TV personality that they've got nothing more to add. What you see is just entertainment only, that's it. You know what I mean? But actually, when they got to know these people and started talking to them, they actually realised the knowledge base behind the TV personality was actually incredible. And that's what was different about this particular convention.
That's the thing that I get all the time. I get a lot of flack from people because they go, well, it's just paranormal TV celebrities. They're just TV. They don't know anything. And I keep telling people, I'm really careful with the speakers that I choose. And I said this to the speakers as well, over the weekend. I said to them, it's really difficult for me to choose my speakers each year because I have to do pretty much like half from America, half from the UK. And the reason I do that is I'm the only person that really brings international speakers from the States, from these shows and things over to the UK. We don't have anyone else that brings them over. So I want to give their fans a chance to meet them and chat and get to know the person off camera. It's funny because they're all so, so, so different when you actually get to know them. What you see on camera is just the little taste of it. Like Chris Fleming, everyone was really surprised at how down to earth and how funny. Oh my God, Chris is hilarious.
It's absolutely hysterical.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got the most amazing personality. I adore that man. But you wouldn't know that because it doesn't really show on TV.
No,
And-
but on TV they're giving us. Oh, it's so frustrating. And this is
Yeah.
one of the things I find the most frustrating about TV personalities is that you know them, you know their knowledge base, you know what they're capable of, and the television shows are not allowing them to showcase what they are. This is an event that they can showcase their personalities. I mean, Chris Fleming at one point when we was doing one of the lives was crazy, but it was awesome because it showed his personality more than any interview will do or TV show will do. You know what I mean? He let rip and he was absolutely hysterical. He was brilliant.
You know, it's so funny because at one point during the weekend, I think it was towards the end of the weekend, all the speakers were sitting there chatting, and I think it was Chris that turned around to me and said, "This is the sweariest convention I've ever been at," because they were so comfortable with the Sage Tribe. It really felt, I mean, each speaker came to me individually and said they've never been to an event where it actually does feel like family. Like they don't feel like it's work. They're looking forward to, because for them it is a gig, it's work. You know, they've been paid to do that. They've been paid a lot of money to be there. So it's fun for them to go to an event where they can just be themselves and show their personalities, and it's fine. You know, I think that's what makes my event so different, is that they don't have to put that TV face on. They can just join in and you know, play beer pong and chat to the guys, and the guys get to ask them all their questions, and it's very personal. You know, for anyone that hasn't attended the event, any of the attendees will tell you, you can literally walk up to any of the speakers and just start a conversation. They're there to hang out with you all weekend, and they are so chilled. So, you know, it's a really nice vibe that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I think everything on Saturday kind of went a bit downhill with the vampire ball.
Oh, tell me about the vampire ball.
So actually, the vampire ball was way calmer than I thought it was going to be. I think everybody got everything out of their system on Friday. The vampire ball, the outfits were amazing. We had some incredible outfits. So, and it's funny because leading up to the event, everybody kept asking me, do the Sage Tribe dress up? You know, I don't want to, everybody kept messaging me individually going, I don't want to be the only one that turns up in costume. And I kept saying to them, people go all out.
Yeah, hell they do.
This is one of the events, one of the things that takes place over the weekend that the Sage Tribe get the most excited about. Because any excuse to dress up, first of all. But they really put a lot of effort into it. And we had like little prizes for best dressed. I think Wayne Pugh won best costume for the guys.
Mm-hmm.
And Susan Cummins ended up getting best costume for the ladies. She actually flew over with an extra 23 kilogram suitcase from Seattle just for her outfits for the ball. And I mean, that is how much effort these guys put in. Aaron Sagers turned up as a vampire hunter.
He looked awesome.
We had a priest. We had, you know, all the masquerade outfits and things. But the guys really made a great effort, and everyone looked amazing. So we have the most amazing photographs and such great memories from it. We had the professional photographers, Simon Coates Photography. We had them out doing a green screen for us all weekend. And some of the photos are just phenomenal. They're so much fun. So much fun. We had Keenan Riley. Keenan played at the very first Sage Paracon. He's a young guy. He's 18. And when he was 16, it was his first gig he'd ever done on stage. What happened was I was walking down the street in Birmingham and I heard this kid busking. And he was great. And so I asked him if he would come and play at the event. And it was the first time he'd ever done anything on stage. So he had really bad stage fright. And it was really difficult for him. So it's really brought him out of his shell. And this year he came back to do a few little songs for us, and he was fantastic. We also followed that with, oh God, what was our band's name? Cheshire Brooks. It's a 2-piece band, and they were big into their rock music, and that they had all of us on the dance floor and all sorts. It was good fun.
I thought he had borrowed Carl's wig.
Do you know? I actually thought so too. I genuinely thought so too. It was so funny
when I saw the videos and like the photos and that. I was like, did he borrow Carl's wig?
Yeah, I also saw that, and we did have a bit of a giggle about that. But the guys from Cheshire Brooks were just lovely, and they really tried their best to get everybody on the dance floor, which for some reason this year we had a bit of a separation thing going. I think it was because we had the photo studio in the bar area and then the dance floor and that separate. So, next year I might change things up a bit because I really want everybody more together.
But this is something you always do, though. You always see little tweaks you could make, which will make the next event better and better and better. And this is where your talent is, because you don't just oh, it'll be all right. You see little things like that and you go, weren't quite happy with that. It was great, but it would be better if it was an encompass. Yeah, it could be better. And you do that. You see that. And that you never switch off, do you, in these events? Never switch off.
No, there's little things. And the whole weekend I kept speaking to my guest speakers and saying to them, look, you guys do thousands of events. You do hundreds of these things a year. And I want to take everything that you see and feel that we should change or we should work on. I want to take that all on board. So I always listen to, and not only my speakers, but I listen to my attendees as well. If somebody says, hey, why don't you change this, tweak this a little bit, it could work better, might be better for the attendees or whatever the case may be. I do listen to them and I take it on board. I try my best. Each year I'm finding little things that I can better or tweak, as you say, here and there. I've got an entire notebook of things that I'm running through for this year that, I want to tweak and change. And some of them are so minute that, as an attendee, you probably wouldn't notice the difference, but it would help things run smoother and be, just easier for the attendees. There's just tiny little tweaks that I'm working on. A lot of the things that, I sat down and spoke to the speakers about, we've come up with some really good ideas for next year. So, yeah, you don't switch off. You always
tick, 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 tick. It's your brain is always on the go. It's not just, I've done this event, I've organised it up to this point, let's just roll with it. There's always that brain ticking. There's always those notes going down in your notebooks. There's always, what can I do next year that would make this better? There's always, and actually, to be fair, the guest speakers are just like the icing on the cake for everything else that goes on, isn't it?
Yeah, they're a bunch of good people.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it wouldn't run without them, but what I'm saying is there's so much else that goes into it.
Yeah, there is a lot. People don't realize how many working parts there are. And this year, it was really difficult as well because the couple of days before the event, we lost a very close family member. Yeah. And it was really, really hard having to get the news that she'd passed away while trying to get to the airport to pick up my speakers and still keep focused and still, I didn't have a chance. I don't think either of us had a chance to process what was going on. This year I had all of that going on. So there were a few things that I would have loved to have had at the event that just didn't quite make it. With everything going on and having family in hospital and a bunch of other stuff going on in my personal life, I didn't quite get to it, such as my shirt designer made a little bit of a mess of the shirt for this year. So that will be posted on the website and everything pretty soon. We do have the design. I've just got to wrap up a couple of things this week. Now, that should have been done 3 weeks before the event, which it usually is.
Yeah.
However, with everything else going on. So, this, like I say, there are a lot of things this year that I think could have been a lot better and I would tweak. But given the circumstances and that, I think we did pretty well, if I may say so myself.
I think you did goddamn awesome considering the circumstances you were under and the pressure you were under.
Thanks. Yeah, right?
Hell yeah.
Every year it's getting harder and harder to top. I'm doing this to myself.
You are, but incredible considering the personal circumstances you were under at that time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, it's awesome. Absolutely awesome. I just don't know how you did it, I'll be honest with you. Now, Sunday, we kicked off again with another load of, guest speakers doing their thing. Mm-hmm. And in the evening, it should be a wind down, right? On the Sunday evening?
It should be.
Talk me through that, right?
Okay, so Sunday, again, the lectures were fantastic. We had really good feedback. I think, the adding in sort of the psychic demo and that sort of thing, people seem to really enjoy that. So it's something that I'm looking into doing a bit more. So Sunday was a bit of a weird one. So we kind of ran slightly over schedule. And this is only because Aaron Lockley from Human Canvas, the tattoo studio, decided that we being myself, my husband Duncan, who helps me over the weekend, and Katrina Weidman, the three of us had to tattoo him.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone out there realizes, A, how difficult that is. Mm-hmm. B, I can't draw a stick man. Literally cannot. I do not have any artistic bone in my body like that whatsoever. So I was absolutely petrified, terrified, just, it doesn't even cut it. It was probably one of the scariest things I've ever done. I speak for myself. Katrina looked like she was well into it.
Oh, yeah, she did.
Yeah, she loved it. She really did.
She was like, yeah, what do I do? Yeah, I'm on it.
Yeah, she was so calm. It was funny. She was so calm on the Facebook Live and while she was doing it, until she put the tattoo machine down and she just looked at me and held her hands out and they were shaking so badly. And I was like, I feel you, sister. Oh my God, it was terrifying. Sunday turned out a little weird because we all had to tattoo a Sage Tribe tattoo on the tattoo artist, which was weird. Chris Fleming actually tattooed one of his fans as well.
Did he?
Yeah, Gaz. It was pretty cool. Chris designed the tattoo and then did like some of the final touches in it. It was very, very cool. I mean, who can say they've been tattooed by Katrina Weidman,
I know, but everybody in the chat room is saying you did a great job. You did amazing. I mean, you look at the chat room, everyone's like, oh my God, hail MJ is all I'm saying.
It's so funny. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. But it does look like a 3-year-old scribbled on Aaron's leg.
I'm sure it doesn't.
I'll actually post that photograph of our tattoo that we did. I should compare it to the Sage Tribe tattoos that Aaron's doing, and you can see actually how good his work is. So we ran a little bit over schedule due to that going on, because, I mean, that was definitely a Sage Paracon first, which was really good fun. And then we had sort of a panel at the end of the day. I think all of us were just so tired, and we did this panel. It turned into, it was supposed to be like a Q&A session panel thing, but it just turned into a chat. Cool. We all just sat there at the end of the day, catching up. Sunday, as I always tell people at Sage Paracon, Sunday's my ugly crying day, because it's kind of the wind down for me to see the whole weekend wrap up, and I get really emotional when everybody comes up to me saying what a great weekend they've had, or that, it was the best weekend of their life, or it was this, or it was that. And it literally breaks me. I can't stop crying all day. It's horrible. And they do it to me every year. And then they bring out flowers or something silly like that. And so thanks to Cole for doing that and organising flowers, because that just absolutely broke me. But Sunday night is supposed to be our wind down evening where we'll just hang out, have a drink or have a coffee, play some Cards Against Humanity. However, what myself and Elizabeth did this year, and what we're actually still doing, is creating a Sage Tribe Cards Against Humanity.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's all the speakers from each year have a card or something there, or a quote of theirs, or something like that's happened at a previous Sage Paracon or within the Sage Tribe. And it is, there were things from this weekend. There's a lot of hashtags that I see people posting in the chat room every now and again that attended the event. And there's some really funny ones that, and it's not like, oh, this is a private joke between select couple of people. This spreads throughout the entire event. So anyone that wants to join in and play the Sage Tribe Cards Against Humanity, it's good fun. It's just a nice way to end off with a few laughs. I have some videos, but I think the speakers will kill me if I post them.
Probably. Will you explain one thing to me?
Yes.
I'm seeing this quite a lot on from the guest speakers and people that attended. The "and shit."
Oh God.
Comment.
Hashtag and shit.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I think it was Karen actually, Karen Delman. Was in the chat room. So I think it was actually Karen, because somebody turned around and said over the weekend, Karen is the most American person they've ever met. Mm-hmm. But every sentence ended up ending with, like talking boards and shit. And then there was Richard's talk as well, as Elizabeth says in the chat room there, where the and shit just kept spreading throughout the whole event. So eventually it was like, hey, we're going to go watch a lecture and shit. Or, hey, we're going to... And it literally just spread. So that's one of the very many funny moments, There's so many more. And Elizabeth is in the chat room and she's just said that, we need to be very, very afraid of Sage Tribe Cards Against Humanity. All the silly things that are said and done throughout the weekend, we were actually adding cards to the game and writing cards while we were playing it, because there were so many funny things that happened during the actual playing of the game. So we'll get that. Apparently it's "and shit" is this new Sage tagline. So Sage Paracon and shit.
I know. No, I know Elizabeth is part of this. I love Elizabeth. She's absolutely awesome. And right, okay. I want you at this point to give a little shout out to some of the people that helped you with this event before we move on. So I know you might get a bit emotional at this moment.
Oh God, you're gonna kill me now. You're gonna break me.
Okay, come on. Let's have some thanks. Let's have some thanks to some people that helped you over this event.
I was sitting on the train for like 2 hours on the way to London, trying to put together a thank you post to everybody, and it was so emotional for me that I thought, you know what, maybe I should just get some sleep before I actually do this. But first and foremost, a really big shout out to everybody who attended, because this event wouldn't be possible without you guys. For giving my event a chance and for joining us and experiencing the Sage Tribe for yourself. And, welcome to everybody that joined us this year to the Sage Tribe. Anyone listening that doesn't know what we're talking about, please come and join us and be a part of it. There's no weird membership or, you don't have to drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, you do.
I want people to come and join in the fun and thank yous. Oh, dear. My husband, Duncan, not only for living with me during the crazy time of setting this event up, and you don't want to know what my house looks like because of it, but also for helping me out so much over the weekend. He is my right-hand man, and I'm very grateful that he supports me so much with my passion. Carl Hutchinson. Carl, if it wasn't for Carl, this event probably wouldn't have happened this year. Seriously. We wouldn't have had speakers. Carl ended up fetching majority of my speakers from airports. He ran around behind the scenes like a crazy person. He got all the tech ready for all the lectures. He was doing so much more than anybody actually realizes. And if it wasn't for him, there were a lot of things that would never have gone as smoothly as they did. So a huge, huge thank you to Carl.
I just want to break in at that point because I have a personal thanks for Carl Hutchinson too, because if it hadn't have been for Carl, Parasearch Radio wouldn't have been able to have done some of the lives, well, any of the lives that we did over the weekend. So again, from my perspective, thank you so much, Carl.
No, we love Carl to bits. I mean, he's a very, very dear friend of mine, and he knows I'll go to the ends of the earth for him. But he really helped me out so much, and he's a very big part of my Sage family. But yeah, thank you to Parasearch, Kerry, to you. You guys covered the event, and I actually still haven't had a chance to listen to anything because I've been flat out, but that's what I'm doing this week. I'm going to go back and listen to all the shows and ugly cry throughout them if anyone says anything nice, because
well, loads of people said lots of things nice. I would just like to say, and thank you for choosing Parasearch as your official radio station.
Are you kidding me? You guys are absolutely amazing, and you work just as hard. So it was always great having you there, and thank you for just covering everything. You guys did so much. To Elizabeth, that woman had her camera kind of super glued to her hands all weekend as well. She covered the event, taking loads of photographs and preserving all of those memories for all of us. So, and not only for that, there was Samantha Mason, Diana from New York, Desiree from Florida, and a lot of people that have come to these events over the last few years and that know me well. They all jumped in, and they were all there to help and help me set up the party. And there were so many things that went on behind the scenes, and there was just so many people that offered help. So thank you to all of them as well. And to my speakers, dear Lord, they put up with so much. The most amazing speakers. I actually am getting really emotional now. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's, yeah.
It's okay. It's okay to be emotional. You carry on.
Just everybody. I mean, I went to Coombe Abbey for being so amazing, to my speakers putting up with so much and working so hard, being so amazing, so great, just fitting in with the Sage tribe. So many people. Oh my gosh, the guys from Haunted Magazine, who did all the posters and everything for us, to all the people who shared all the links, who shared everything in their magazines, on their shows, on their pages. So many people. You don't really realize how much. Yeah, I say I put this together on my own. I do. I do the main organizing, but none of this would be possible if it wasn't for all of them. If it wasn't for the tribe and everyone else behind the scenes. I have a lot of support, and I'm very, very blessed and very grateful. And I'm going to cry now, so I'm going to stop.
Okay, let's move on. Let's change it to professional. Right, whilst we were live on one of the shows we did over the weekend, you launched and advertised the Sage Paracon 2019. Next year's Sage Paracon. Oh my God, you've sold most of the tickets already.
Dear God. Oh my goodness.
It's all getting very emotional in the studio. I would just like to say, guys.
Yeah, sorry. Just getting rid of a few tears. 2019. Yeah, so that's happening.
Yeah.
It's the 7th to the 10th of November. It will be at Coombe Abbey again. We're doing it same kind of format. So Thursday night investigation, Friday banquets, Saturday, Sunday lectures, Saturday night VIP party. The theme for 2019 is all voodoo. So it's going to be, I mean, if you want to come as a voodoo doll or as Papa Legba or, it's going to force people to go out there and read up on their voodoo and witchcraft and all things weird and see how that can inspire their outfits.
Oh my God, it's going to be awesome.
I'm so excited about it. So we will have, so I wanted to call it the Voodoo Hoodoo Bayou Bash.
Cool.
So we're going down south, we're going to get all southern, just voodoo. I want to see how creative people get. I mean, there's Marie Laveau, there's, the New Orleans side, there's the proper Creole side. There's so many different ways that you could have this inspire your outfit for the voodoo party. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be great. We will definitely have a lot more karaoke. So what I did...
Oh, okay. Karaoke, everybody. You need to be training your voices all year. I know a good song coach if you need one. That's just what I'm saying.
Do you know what, to be honest? Karaoke for us isn't whether you're a great singer or not. I mean, it's not X Factor, honey. It's how entertaining you are. It's that one person that gets up that either blows you away with how funny they are or how, whatever the case may be, but it's that holy crap moment that all the speakers or just stops everybody and goes, wow, what just happened? So it doesn't matter if you're a good singer or not, it's just how entertaining you are. And there's prizes for that, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I believe Jem Barker won the prize for karaoke this year. Although, if Barry Guy wasn't one of the speakers, if he wasn't one of the judges for the karaoke or the outfits, I mean, his Backstreet Boys, I Want It That Way was quite freaking spectacular. Let me tell you what. I'm pretty sure there's video of this.
I need to see that video. I'm just saying.
I will post it. Barry Guy did one.
Please tag me in that, yeah?
I definitely will.
#tag me.
But so it's the 7th to the 10th of November, 2019, voodoo themed. We already have our speakers. I actually have speakers lined up for the next 3 years.
Wow.
So if people keep sending me suggestions, I appreciate that and I adore that. And I will take them on board because I do have a backup list if anything happens that, I have some people on standby. As we know, this year I had 2 speakers cancelled due to surgery and another one, unfortunately, due to something else. So I do always have backup speakers on hand. So I do take suggestions, guys.
Can you give me any spoilers?
Yes, definitely. So next year we have the amazing local to Wales, Claire Barron.
She wrote a book.
Yes, Claire has a book. Claire Barron is going to be talking about the inspiration behind her book, as far as I'm aware. So her book is all these little ghost stories that are loosely based on Welsh folklore. And it's really interesting. I mean, I've seen her talk before, and I know she's gonna absolutely kill me for saying this, but she's a brilliant speaker, and I want to give her that platform to stand in front of people and tell that story because it's really interesting. She's a great storyteller. Her book is great. I've read it. I actually need to write her a little bit of a review on it. But I'm really looking forward to having Claire there. We also have Taz Thornton. Who
Taz is amazing.
There you go. I don't even have to say anymore. Taz Thornton is going to be doing a talk on shamanism and shamanic journeying. She is the biggest ball of energy. She is a powerhouse of a woman. I've seen her talks in the past. She is brilliant, and I am super, super excited to have her as a part of the event next year, covering shamanism. We also have, we've had the Haunted Collector in the past, Mr. John Zaffers, but we are having a different collector next year. We're having the Occult Collector. So we're having Calvin Harris, the Occult Collector. Sorry, Calvin Von Crush. I'm so sorry. I keep calling Calvin Harris. I don't know why. Calvin Von Crush is coming over from America, the Occult Collector. He is also a part of the Talking Board Historical Society as well, just like Karen Edelman. So Calvin will be here. Hopefully he's going to be bringing a few of his items over for people to have a look at. Yeah.
I'm literally sitting here, my hands over my face, because I'm like super excited about that one. Well, all of them. I mean, I love Taz, Claire, you know what I mean? But I'm like, oh my God, it's just awesome. Carry on, sorry. Control myself, professional.
Right. Now, so I'm going to let you know on two people who I would really love to have there this year next year. And this goes down to filming schedules and et cetera, et cetera. So I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. We're trying to make this work. I do want to let you know in advance that, you know, if anything changes due to filming or anything of the sort, or whatever, you know, big productions or things step in, we will more than likely have Mr. Grant Wilson with us next year. From Ghost Hunters.
Did you hear the squeak there? I gave a little squeak. I'm going all girl fan. Anyway, carry on, sorry.
So we'll hopefully have Grant over with us next year. We're still busy sorting all of that out. And I'm waiting on Mr. John Zaffers to get back to me because he does a lecture schedule in November. He lectures at universities throughout October and November. So it's a really, really difficult time for him to get away. But fingers crossed we can get Mr. Zaffers over again.
I love the way they're all going, breathe, Kerry, breathe.
Yeah, I know. I'm watching your reaction on the Skype video.
I know. And there's a big cry out for Jeff as well, Jeff Belanger.
I know. You know what? Jeff is such a big part of the Sage tribe as well. He was at year 1 and year 2. He is just hilarious. I adore Jeff Belanger. He's a wonderful, wonderful person. He's got so much knowledge to share. And you never know. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, now there's a moment. Now we have come to the end of the show. However, quickly, we have the cruise coming up at the early part of next year. So yes. What's that go? I haven't even talked about the after week you've had.
I know.
Oh God,
I know.
We've run out of time. I can't believe this. You've done a week with the guest speakers in London, pretty much, haven't you?
Yeah. So a big happy birthday to Aaron Sagers. We were in London celebrating Aaron's birthday, and just sightseeing and taking a few of the guys around, and we all pretty much did about 33,000 steps a day. So, it's been a bit full on. I'm a bit knackered. But it's been great. Done some really interesting sightseeing. There's going to be a load of photos on Facebook. You guys will be able to see what we've been up to this whole week. But yeah, the cruise is May 2019. 3 days in Venice, Italy, followed by a 7-day cruise. I will be putting all of that information up on the website, etc. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Oh my gosh. But guys,
an awful lot.
If you have not yet secured your Sage Paracon 2019 ticket with a deposit, you can do so. Drop me an email, mj@sageparacon.co.uk. Or if you go onto our website, there is an option where you can pay your deposit on the website as well to secure your ticket, to secure your package. The packages will be the same as this year, exactly the same. They will all be back on the website. I just need about a week to sleep, at least. And then the speakers, their bios, everything will be on the website within the next couple of weeks max. So, if you're thinking of joining us, please do. It's a hell of a lot of fun. The Sage tribe keeps growing. We're a crazy bunch. We all love the paranormal, and come and join.
Honestly, I did it remotely, and oh my goodness, I really wish I'd been there, is all I can say. I would like to give a big shout out to Penny, who attended in my absence. Thank you so much, Penny. Thank you so much, Carl, for doing the Parasearch Radio over the weekend. Good job is all I can say. I couldn't have done it without you. And
yes, shout out to Penny.
Well done, MJ, for putting on an absolutely another awesome event. There's a cruise. There's next year's Sage Paracon. Get your tickets now. They are selling fast. There is a payment plan in place. If you're worried about cost, having said that, what you've heard over the last weekend and this, seen on the socials and heard tonight, there is a payment plan in place. You need to be part of this event. Get your tickets now because you will miss out if you don't.
Tickets are limited.
And they are limited.
There's only 100 tickets.
This is an exclusive event. MJ does not oversubscribe her events. So
no,
any of her events that she runs throughout the year, because she does a few investigations too, intimate ones as well. It's worth, as Jeanette said in the chat room, it's worth every goddamn penny. I would like to say thank you so much. Oh, I'm getting all emotional. I'm getting emotional.
Oh my
Thank
God.
you so much.
You.
It's been awesome being part of the Sage experience. Talking to all the guest speakers, talking to you, talking to all the event people that attended. Oh my God.
You're making me cry so badly, woman. Thank you for everything you've done. You've done absolutely amazing. I couldn't, like I say, I couldn't do it without any of the Sage tribe, without any of the support that I get. And yeah, roll on 2019.
2019 Sage Paracon. Get in or miss out, because you are going to miss out on an absolutely amazing event. On that note, we are shutting this show down before we become a total mess. I know, before we become a total mess. I'm sorry we didn't get onto the week you've had in London, which has been absolutely awesome. Thank you so much, MJ, for everything you do regarding the paranormal and bringing the field together, which is what's needed so much in this day and age. And I would just like to say, we love you.
Oh, okay, there I go.
And on that note, good night. Join me live on the Parasearch Radio group page for the roundup of this week's shows. And I'm going to just shut this show down before I lose it completely. Good night. Thank you. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.